Behind the Red Line, Episode 72. The Scottish sex worker murders the women police failed. Scotland, 1987 to 2013. 3 women, 3 murders, decades of police neglect, and a shadow hanging over Scotland's darkest corners. Glasgow and Edinburgh, 2 cities divided by miles, but united by one truth. For decades, sex workers were hunted in the shadows, murdered on back streets, discarded in fields, forgotten by the people sworn to protect them. And when they begged police to listen, no one did. This is Behind the Red Line, Episode 72. The Scottish sex worker murders. The women police failed. Scotland in the late 20th and early 21st century was waking up from centuries of conservative silence. But when it came to sex workers, silence still ruled. Most murders of sex workers weren't solved. Some weren't even properly investigated. Tonight, we tell the stories of 3 women whose deaths exposed indifference, discrimination, and a system designed to look away. 2012, Glasgow. Michelle Ross, known as Shelley to friends, was 31 years old. She was a mother, a friend, a woman trying to survive. She worked in the sex trade when she needed to, and battled addiction like thousands fighting Scotland's heroin epidemic. On January 30th, she met a client. She got into his car, and she was never seen alive again. Shelley's body was found in Renfrew, partially clothed, bruised, strangled. Neighbors had reported hearing screams the night before, but police dismissed them. It took 7 months for investigators to treat Shelley's death as suspicious. Why? Because she was a sex worker. Police eventually arrested a man named Gary Weir, a serial predator known to target vulnerable women. But before the trial could begin, he died. Shelley's family never got answers. Her death remains technically unsolved. Another woman lost, another killer unaccounted for. 2013, Glasgow again. Just 1 year after Shelley Ross. Diane McInally was 23. She struggled with addiction, homelessness, and survival sex work. She disappeared for weeks, and no one in authority looked for her. Her mother begged police to open a missing persons case. They refused. "She'll turn up," they said. "Girls like her always do." Diane's body was found in a Glasgow flat, wrapped, hidden, covered in injuries consistent with a brutal beating. She had been dead for days. If police had searched earlier, she might have been found alive. But they didn't. The investigation. Several men were known to have attacked or exploited Diane. None were charged. Police said there was insufficient evidence. activists disagreed. They believed police didn't want to investigate. Why? Because Diane was a sex worker. Because Diane was homeless. Because Diane was someone society refused to see. Long before Shelley and Diane, another woman was murdered in the shadows. 1987 Edinburgh. Karen McGregor was 26 years old, a sex worker in the city's red light district. She was last seen getting into a client's car late at night. She didn't return. The discovery. Karen's body was found in a wooded area outside the city. Naked, bruised, discarded like garbage. Her injuries showed she fought viciously for her life. But the investigation was sloppy from the start. Police tampered with the crime scene. Evidence was misplaced. Witnesses were ignored. One detective called Karen just another prostitute, a quote that later enraged the entire nation. The cold case. Despite multiple suspects, including violent Johns known to police, no one was ever charged. Karen's murder faded into dust, a cold case buried under shame. But sex workers never forgot her. 3 women, 3 decades, 3 failed investigations. But the pattern is larger. In Scotland, sex workers repeatedly reported police ignoring missing women, delayed investigations, refusal to take violence seriously, mocking comments toward victims, a belief that sex workers were choosing danger. Instead of searching for murderers, authorities blamed the victims, and predators knew it. If you target a sex worker, you're less likely to get caught. But Scotland changed because sex workers forced it to. In the 2010s, advocacy groups like SCOTPEP, Umbrella Lane, the Encompass Network, the Sex Workers Collective, began pushing back hard. They demanded justice for Shelley, Diane, Karen, and the dozens of unnamed others. They exposed police discrimination, held press conferences, fought legal battles, and forced Scotland to confront the truth. Sex workers are targeted because they're marginalized, and killers rely on police inaction. 2024 and beyond, the cases remain officially unsolved. Shelley Ross, no conviction. Diane McInally, no justice. Karen McGregor, frozen in time. But their stories continue to shape Scotland's fight for legal protection, safer working conditions, decriminalization, and social recognition. These women are no longer silent. Their voices echo through every reform effort. They were mocked, dismissed, ignored, but they were human. They were daughters, sisters, friends, women whose lives mattered. Predators took their lives, but police complacency buried their stories. Tonight, we unbury them. This is Behind the Red Line, Episode 72, The Scottish Sex Worker Murders, The Women Police Failed.